todos ustedes y bienvenidos al nuevo show del abogado Vital de Carpio en esta gran y mundial plataforma donde hablaremos acerca de inmigración, de casos penales, de accidentes y si quiere tirar una curva, bienvenido aquí todos los días al pie del cañón. El abogado Vital de Carpio, despierte con Vital legalmente, aquí para apoyar a nuestra comunidad, donde pueden llamar y quitarse las inquietudes legales, aquí con el abogado Vital de Carpio. Si no hace nada, nada va a pasar. Vital de Carpio.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for this nice applause that you have there for me. Attorney Vital de Carpio on the weekends, giving you an update of what's been happening in the immigration laws here in our program. We have our program every day at 4 o'clock, and obviously you're welcome to call us up. Here's a phone number on the screen, and we'll answer any questions regarding any immigration issues. We're going to be going remote in a few minutes, but we're just going to give you an update. And just a couple of tips that we always like to give to everybody. Make sure that you have a passport from your country and that it's valid, okay? It's a form of identification, and in many processes for the immigration, a passport is needed, okay? And also, if you have an identification, which is a driver's license or an ID from California or from your state, make sure that it's current. And another tip, sometimes when we file petitions, we have to get the birth certificates, and sometimes those birth certificates are not correct. For instance, they misspell the name, the date of birth is different, and you have to make sure they are corrected. So when you get some of these birth certificates, go ahead and look at them well to make sure all the information is accurate. And if not, you would have to go to your consulate at the nearest place in your city where you live, and then you can get it fixed and corrected because you're going to need that or those documents in the future. Okay, well, we're going to start with a couple items. First of all, I'm just going to touch. The first item we talked on the week was advanced parole. What does that mean? That means you ask for permission to leave the United States and return legally. And that can be done by three groups of people. Mainly DACA people, the dreamers. The DACA holders is a good strategy to leave. You have to leave for some medical emergency of a relative, work, or studying, okay, or some course or something. If you go over there and come back, then your entry will be legal, and then later on, if you get married to a United States citizen, then they can petition you, and you can stay in the United States and not have to leave outside of the country to get your visa to come back in. So that's called advanced parole. That's for the dreamers, the DACA, the people that have the TPS, which is a temporary protective status. And also, if you have entered with a visa into the United States and you're in the process of getting your residency, then you can travel. But you must ask for permission. And it's always an excellent idea to have a lawyer with you. Okay, the other item that we talked about is the legal entry. In order to be able to obtain a legal residency in the United States, you must have entered legally. And that legal entry could be with a visa, tourist visa. It could be a border crossing card that you entered. It could be from work, a work permit through a H-2 visa or any other visa, H-1B, that you've entered, or even as a student. All those entries are legal. Now, and therefore, you could adjust or obtain the residency here. There are a couple of ways that are legal, but most people don't know. And let me tell you, there is a case law, and the case is called Quilanton. And what that case said that when a person approaches the border, you walk in or you're in the car, and the immigration officer either asks very few questions or none, or it says, where are you going? And you say, I'm going to get some hamburgers. And if he says, come, wave the you in, he says, come in, or he moves his arm like I'm doing now, that's called a wave in. And that is considered a legal entry. You need a lawyer to fight that because they fight it. okay? And that's based on a case law, and we have been successful with those cases. They're tough to fight, but that's what we're here for. We got to fight for you. Okay, that's the legal entry. Another legal entry, it's many people at one point in time, many from South America came in with fraudulent visas. They've obtained a visa with their face and their name, but it was fraudulent. And when they showed up at the Miami airport or Texas or wherever, they showed it. The immigration officer looked at it, said, it looks fine to me, and they let him in, and they stayed here. That is a legal entry, but with fraudulent documents. And there is a waiver for that, and you can still be able to obtain a legal permanent residency, even though you entered in that manner. Okay, we're gonna continue, and we're going to remote in a minute. But if you have any questions, feel free to give us a call right here with Attorney Vital de Carpio.
Buenos días acá, compita, bienvenido y díganos, ¿qué hace usted acá?
Buenos días, abogado. Sí, pues bien, aquí ya muy contento de que usted me haya podido ayudar.
Ándele, ok, pero ahora vamos a ayudar porque saben que ver para creer, dijo un ciego, y aquí le estamos entregando un papelito. A ver, mire, esto es para usted, compita. A ver, vea, ¿qué cosa es?
Oh, muchas gracias, abogado. Es la tarjeta de residencia.
Pues llore.
Por 10 años.
10
sí,
años.
Muy...
A ver, no sé
sí.
si la pueden enfocar acá. Está ahí está, de 10 años, ¿ya?
Sí.
Ya, ok, y dígame, ¿esto lo agarramos a través de qué?
A través de mi esposa.
Exactamente.
De mi esposa.
Y no fue una petición de ella, para no hablar más en detalle del relajo. Dígame, cuando usted vino aquí por primera vez y presentamos el caso de violencia doméstica, ¿usted qué dijo?
Oh, pues yo siempre estaba con la esperanza de poder arreglar mis papeles. Ya tengo 20 años sin mis papeles. Y siempre anduve preguntando con otros abogados y pues nunca me dijeron que pues, no podía y que no podía, que me esperara y que me esperara. A usted lo oí en el radio, vine con usted, hice la cita con usted y me dio esperanzas.
Muy bien, muy bien.
Desde ahí, poco a poco, empecé con usted a tramitar mis papeles.
Llore si quiere, no hay problema, los hombres también lloramos.
Y poco a poco fui reuniendo todo lo que me pedía hasta el final y gracias a Dios usted ya me hizo mi sueño realidad.
Ándele. Ahora ya, primero agarramos el permiso de trabajo a través de violencia doméstica y luego ahora ya la residencia. ¿Y de cuántos años es?
De 10 años, abogado.
Exactamente, y con eso puede viajar a la China si quiere. ¿A dónde va a ir de viaje?
Pues primeramente a México a ver a mi familia.
Ándele. ¿Y cuántos años tiene que no vea al jefe?
Ya son 20 años.
Híjole, nomás, ya todo ha cambiado en el pueblo.
Pues ya cuando llegue ya ni voy a conocer mi pueblo.
Seguro que ya hay teléfono y luz y agua.
Ya hay todo.
Exactamente.
Todo, ya.
Bueno, mire, y dígame, ¿qué temores tenía usted cuando vino acá y le dije, mire, vamos a hacer plan A, plan B, paso C, etcétera?
Pues mi temor nada más era estaba como angustiado por si iba a poder o no iba a poder. Pero gracias a Dios vine, me dio toda la confianza y de ahí en adelante trabajamos juntos.
Hey, dígame, las personas que nos están viendo y escuchando que tienen temor, la desidia, están medios ariscos porque ya les han robado, ¿qué les puedes decir a ellos?
Pues yo les sugiero o les pido que investiguen con los abogados que son especialmente en leyes de migración. Que vengan aquí con el abogado, que no lo duden, hagan sus citas. Si tienen algunas preguntas o algo que otros abogados les hayan dicho, vengan con él. Él les va a decir si sí se va a poder o no se va a poder.
Exactamente, usted lo ha dicho todo. Y bueno, ahora tenemos aquí la oficina que vamos a cantar una canción de tradición. ¡Arranquen! Happy Mika to you, Happy Mika to you. Happy Mika, señor presidente carnal. Happy Mika, acércate, aplausos. Mire, oiga, pues ponga aquí en la cámara a ver qué es eso.
Aquí el abogado me está dando un regalo.
Hey.
para una cafetera.
Exactamente,
Sí.
para que no se le duerma el gallo, carnal.
Se me duerma el gallo,
¡Hemos
sí.
dicho! ¡Gracias!
That's right. You just heard a testimony of a man who was victim of domestic violence of his wife. I know it sounds a little awkward or not common that man to be a victim of domestic violence, but it's very common. And he obtained his work permit first and then his legal permanent residency. And we have other testimonies in our videos and YouTube and Facebook that you can see. And, well, listen to them, I think is very important. So if you're married to a United States citizen or a legal permanent residency, and you do not have any legal papers to be in the United States, come see attorney Vital de Carpio. Okay, in the background, you see a picture of the LAX, famous international restaurant, which I think is not open anymore. Anyway, today is July 31, 2021. I don't think it's open, but that's a picture of 1960. And this is just to remind you, if anyone has any automobile accidents, we can certainly help you. You need legal advice in case of an accident, and make sure that you stay there at the accident, because otherwise it turns into a criminal case. And that's the advice. You can always call the attorney during the weekend and leave a message that you have an accident, and we will call you back because you need legal advice. And then you can decide what you want to do, but at least we want to protect you. Okay, we're ready to go remote, so we're going there in a second to continue with our weekly update. Okay, here we are, everybody. Now, Attorney Vital de Carpio have been practicing for 28 years now in immigration law, criminal law, and automobile accidents. So let me continue. We have this weekly update every Saturday. And the other topic that we talked about is what happens when your child is 21 years old. Many people have a misconception, or they listen to the neighbor or the guy who cleans the yard and give legal opinion, and that's not proper, okay? You need to listen to an attorney. When your child turns 21, born in the United States, American citizen, they may be able to petition you and be successful about it if you are protected by the law 245I, which meant that someone had to petition you before on April 30, 2001 or before, or either you entered the United States with a visa and you have proof of that. Or also if you entered through Killing Town when someone waved you in, then that's called an admission. And that child can petition you, okay? If not, then the other alternative will be that if you have a wife that's a legal permanent resident or a parent that are residents, then they will have to petition you. You have to file a waiver, and then you'll have to go to your country for about 12 days, just 12 days, and you'll get your visa, and then you'll be able to come back in. Okay, we're here at the, you can see Diamond Head in back of us. We're on the top of the building with a nice view here in Hawaii. A lot of people, the mayor of Honolulu here wants to restrict the amount of tourists that come in because I guess there are many coming in here because of the pandemic. Okay, and the last topic, on the kids, that's one way they can petition you, but also remember, if the children are aggressive and yell and rant and sometimes drink or drugs or whatever, and they mistreat you, that's another avenue which you can get a legal permanent residency through domestic violence, and nothing will happen to the kids, okay? That's another topic that we can talk about more in detail. And last, the people who are victims of a crime qualify for the U visa, which is a 4-year work permit, and after that, you can get a legal permanent residency in the United States. Now, so if someone is a victim of a crime, they have to call the police and they have to cooperate. Cooperate means if they tell you, look, we found someone that looks like is the person that robbed you with the gun, come in and identify him. You have to go and cooperate. That's part of the job. Now, sometimes they arrest the person and the district attorney's office will call you and say, look, we want you to come testify in front of the guy. and tell the judge what happened. You have to go, you have to say yes. Now, sometimes the person who assaulted you is the cousin of the guy who lives down the street. Well, you're a little concerned, or you're afraid. You need to tell that to the detective or the district attorney that concerned. At times, when the criminals live around you, they can move you and they will pay for the expenses and move you to another county in order for you to be a witness and to get out of that uncomfortable living situation. So cooperation is very important. Last, sometimes the persons move out, they do change phone numbers, and they do not inform the police officer or the district attorney. If they contact you and you don't respond, they will probably put on their notes the person did not cooperate. So if you change your phone number, call up, say, hi, if you need anything, here's my phone number. If you move, hi, I moved for whatever reason. Here's my phone number or my address, and you can communicate with me. Very important to stay in contact with the police or the district attorney in order to be able to cooperate with them in order for them to sign the documentation for the U visa. Okay, so remember, if anyone is a victim of a crime, it could be a past, many years ago, it doesn't matter when, or it could happen tomorrow. Just make sure you contact the police and then contact Attorney Vital de Carpio right away so we can take care and help you. I hope you guys have a nice weekend. Well, we're going to go see how the water is down here. I can see it from down here. And a lot of people over here in Hawaii. All right, take care. We'll be back right away on Monday at the office. But you can call at any time. You can have contact with Attorney Vital de Carpio. Hey, have a nice weekend.
Gracias, damas y caballeros. Aquí con el abogado Vital de Carpio. El teléfono de la oficina es el 714-953-2732. Y también puede ver al abogado Vital de Carpio en el internet en abogadovital.com. abogadovital.com para ver la cara y nopal del abogado. También puede hacer una cita al 714-953-2732 por Skype, por correo electrónico. Y si tiene un accidente automovilístico o un caso de mala práctica médica, llame al abogado Vital de Carpio al 714-953-2732. 714-953-2732. El abogado Vital de Carpio. ¡Y ¡san se acabó! Gracias, damas y caballeros.